watching Kenosha Community Television.
Well, I'll tell you, Jason, for me,
Either he wants to say something or eat something, one of the two.
Take the opportunity to put on musical interest.
Acting, dancing, and now singing a Grammy winner.
After those movies, and particularly Night Shift and Gung Ho.
Really? Never knew that.
Welcome to Just Talking. We have a great show for you today. We are here again at the Kenosha Women's Club to see what events they have going on. So let's go on in. Okay, here we are at the Kenosha Women's Club. And again, I am with your name.
Carol Schmeinfurth.
And Carol, what's your role here at the Women's
I'm
Club?
President.
Okay, we went right to the top on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nice to see you again. And again, it's just a beautiful historic building here at Kenosha Women's Club. Again, if we could just do a quick, brief overview of what the Women's Club is.
The Women's Club is a nationwide volunteer organization. The Kenosha Club was organized under the General Federation of Women's Clubs in 1891. In fact, we have a 125th birthday coming up, April 24th, 2016.
Great, absolutely. And this is a historic building as well.
Yes, it is. This is the Farr Building. And it was actually owned by the man who came up with the crotchless underwear for men, a jockey.
Well, I know you guys also, another great thing about the Women's Club, you always have great events coming up, and maybe we can talk about that, or did you have a few other things?
Other than the fact that to invite people to these fundraisers that we're having, on Sunday we're having a Don't Drink the Paint.
Okay.
And this will bring out your creative side of painting. We have a lady who is an artist that is coming, and this will benefit our Helen Mears, a contest that we hold for the school children here in Kenosha, and we give out monetary gifts for first, second, and third prize at the schools. So we have to raise funds for that, and this it'll be from. The tickets are $30. That's going to include all your materials for making an art project, and she will be leading you so that you will have a complete art project by the time you're finished. So, and that will be from 2 to 5 on Sunday.
That'll be Sunday, October 12th.
October 12th. And on Friday, October 31st, which is Halloween, we are having again the Coffin Bangers Ball. So, and the entire club is set up for Halloween, including our ghost that comes to visit. We are documented as having a ghost here. Really? Yes, that's in. And she will be coming, but all the rooms will be decorated and up the steps. And we are doing this in cooperation with the Junior Women's Club. And the proceeds for this will go to Kenosha's Dream Playground. And the tickets are $25. It'll go from 7 to midnight, and we will be giving costume prizes for the best costume. We have a casino that will be open. We have food to be served. There will be people walking around that you might be afraid to even approach. You can pick up tickets at Benson Corners, Southport Pantry, and DeBerg's, as well as the Women's Club. And like I say, this is in conjunction with the juniors, and we hope to get that playground put here in Kenosha. That is for children of all abilities. Okay. But what is nice is grandparents who have wheelchairs or our veterans who have been harmed and are in wheelchairs will be able to play in there also. Okay. So hope you will come to that. Then we are going to have what we call the Women's Club of Kenosha Historic Holiday. We open the club for the public to come in, and the club takes a total different look as it will be decorated for the holidays, and you really walk into a winter wonderland. There are trees in every room there, and you can take tours. It doesn't cost you anything to come, and it will be open from 2 to 6. But at high noon on that day, there'll be a high tea here for princesses and their mothers or grandmothers or aunts or whoever they would like to bring. We will have some of Disney's princesses making appearance at that. There'll be entertainment and food. And the cost for that will be $10 for adults and $7 for children. But that will be served in here, and it will be beautiful. So they can come in their princess costumes, and they will meet the Disney princesses. Also, when the open house is on, we will also have entertainment. Kenosha Schubert Club will be giving entertainment. One of our members, Gail Gilmore, will also be giving entertainment, and the Cleason group will also be giving entertainment.
Well, it sounds like some great events. We definitely have to stop down to the Women's Club and with the Coffin Bangers Ball and the paint program, and as well as the historic holiday. If people want more information, first of all, is there a website or phone number that people...
Yes, we are on a website, the KenoshaWomen'sClub.org. Also, you can just call the club, and Dave's here, or he'll refer the call to one of us.
And the phone number?
It's 652-1731, and we're at 6028 8th Avenue, right across from the library.
Well, once again, a great historic building here at the Kenosha Women's Club, which offers some great fundraising events. And Carol, thanks so much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
It is so easy to give back.
I don't have a lot of money to help people, but I do have something. I have time.
Get up and do something.
Just imagine how strong a society we could be.
Every one of us has a role to play in making our communities and our country stronger. Discover yours. Help us continue to make a difference in the life of our nation. Go to serve.gov and find the opportunity that works for you. And this message is brought to you by the Corporation for National and Community Service.
Okay, welcome back. And in the studio tonight, we have a great guest in the studio, and it's Todd Ohnstad, Wisconsin State Representative for the 65th Assembly District. Todd, thanks so much.
Thank you, Jason, for having me on.
Thanks so much for coming on down. Well, for those who don't know about a Wisconsin State Representative, what does a Wisconsin State Representative do?
Well, we represent approximately 57,000 people in our district. The 65th Assembly District runs essentially from Washington Road to Pleasant Prairie, and from the lake to right around 45th Street.
Okay.
And of course, there's a lot of constituent services that are required. People are having problems with different state agencies, but then there's also all the legislation that comes forward in every legislative session.
Okay. And then you also serve on some committees. Maybe you could talk about that.
Yes, I'm currently serving on the Tourism Committee, also serving on, which tourism, of course, is very important to Kenosha's economy. Also serving on the Insurance Committee, also serving on the Labor Committee, and probably the committee that saw the most activity in my first 2-year period was Jobs, Economy, and Mining.
Well, I guess the big question on everybody's mind is the casino. And for those who aren't aware, the casino was stuck in the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and when it finally got approved, it came on the governor's desk, and we're sort of waiting on that. Any movement or any update you can shed some light on?
Well, I think it's it's nearly the billion-dollar question at this point. It's nearly $1 billion in private investment. And I've been a long-term supporter of the casino. I supported the casino when I was on the executive board of UAW Local 72. We thought that it was important enough 15 or 18 years ago, exactly when that first referendum happened, that we should take a position on it. And the executive board recommended to the membership at the time, which was, of course, Local 72 had several thousand members at the time, that we take a position in favor of the casino. And it's been a long time coming. Now we've had the opportunity to make that a reality with seriously a stroke of the pen by the governor. And when I last talked to the governor specifically about the casino, he at that time, he was thinking that he would make a decision within a few weeks of it getting on his desk, and that has become a lot more protracted decision than what I think anybody in Kenosha would like. But personally, I'm a little bit cautiously optimistic. I think that it's just too good of an opportunity to pass up. And I would not be surprised. There's been certainly a lot of speculation that there would be an October surprise just before the gubernatorial election on November 4th. I'm not so sure about that, but at the end of the day, and he has until, I forget what the date is in February 19th, seems to ring a bell. He has until then to decide whether or not to put 1,500 construction workers to work, 3,000 full-time family supporting jobs, over 3,000 family supporting jobs in our casino here, and also put thousands of people to work up north on the revenue that the Menominee tribe would bring in.
And it would help the tax base around there.
Absolutely. It would. Actually, it comes in the form of not taxes because it is tribal property,
yes.
But there are direct payments to both the county, the city, and to the school district, as well as several charities such as Boys and Girls. So this would just be a boon. This would make Kenosha into a boomtown.
Since you sit on the committee for jobs, is there other areas that more businesses can be attracted here in the community?
Well, I think that tourism certainly is a great opportunity for Kenosha. It certainly goes hand in hand with the casino. It's been estimated that if the casino were to come to Kenosha, that would mean an additional 5 million tourists to the Kenosha County area. That alone would just be huge. But I think that we need to continue to work on manufacturing jobs. The Ken Corporation is a great company that is moving here. Incinerator from Racine needed to do some expansion, so there's going to be 200 or 300 good industrial jobs there coming. So we need to diversify the economy and continue to bring manufacturing jobs in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that brings up another question with you, that you've been at American Motors, and unfortunately they tore down the Chrysler plant. What do you foresee going in that property, or that maybe another factory, or what's your feelings on it?
Well, that's really right in the middle of my district,
okay.
Right in the middle of my assembly district, and you know, having spent 30 years of my life representing people primarily for all of those years, you know, it's hard to drive by that empty site. But nevertheless, you know, it is what it is, and we're in the process of, the city's in the process of remediating that right now. We've had, you know, great cooperation with the DNR, and you know, once that site is close to being remediated, I would assume that the city will take a look at what some of the best uses for that property are at that particular time. Maybe it's certainly been mentioned that, you know, perhaps the same consulting firm that kind of brought the idea for Harbor Park might be utilized for them to determine, Urban Land Institute, I believe is the name, for them to give the city and their best guess as to how that land would be best used.
Well, let's talk about the governor race is coming up, and we got a opposing candidate, Mary Burke. What do you see the differences between the two candidates?
Well, I think that Governor Walker has really polarized this state by, you know, his first action with Act 10, but being in the legislature for the last 2 years, I think that the budget has really increasingly, has specifically kind of targeted benefits for the rich and not so much the middle class. And I just think that some of the environmental decisions, it's really a long list. Not supporting equal pay for women, any number of different specific issues. But I think that the worst is the polarization that the state has, you know, seen under Governor Walker. I think that we can do better than this, and I think that Mary Burke is really a great candidate. She's been upfront on a lot of issues that are important to working people in my district, certainly. Minimum wage, increasing the minimum wage. It's something that, especially in this period of time that we're in, where wage inequality has just gotten so out of line, that now is the time for minimum wage, for equal pay for equal work for women and men. should just be a cornerstone of society. This should not even be something that's being talked about at this stage of the game. So I just think that Mary Burke is a great candidate. As you all know, we are in a neck-and-neck race, and I really think that this all depends upon whether or not people get out to vote.
Do you think that polarization with a new governor could reverse Act 10, or is that pretty much set in stone?
Well, Mary Burke is not going to reverse Act 10.
Okay.
But I believe that Mary Burke would do all that she could with a legislature that she's going to inherit, be in favor of collective bargaining. And really, what needs is more of a level playing field where workers know that they can sit across the table from management and deliver a good deal, not only for themselves, but for the company or for the taxpayers on the other side.
Which you experienced being at the UAW. So if that was taken away, it's like, what, you can't really basically ask for a raise, I guess.
And that's part of the problem with the minimum wage that we are looking at now. With the deindustrialization and deunionization of much of manufacturing in the United States, private sector unions are not as prevalent as what they were, and companies, you would think that they would realize that they need to keep pace, that for the workers to be able to keep pace with inflation and be able to keep pace with to provide a decent standard of living, but that has not been the case, unfortunately.
Let's talk about your office. Now, are you involved in creating or writing bills at all, or legislation?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's hear about anything you're working on or that you have worked on. Or?
Well, I'm pleased to co-author a bill currently that Senator Wirch and I will present as soon as we go back into the legislature on banning microbeads in body products. Microbeads are microscopic bits of plastic that are used as exfoliants in body wash, actually even in toothpaste. And these tend to coagulate in Lake Michigan. They also seem to be prone to be picking up pesticides that are found in the lake, and it's a major problem, I think, for our lake. And of course, the lake is one of Wisconsin's biggest assets, and certainly Kenosha's biggest asset. There's also legislation that I will reintroduce that I introduced last year. Actually got a hearing, and then kind of ran out of time, and that is to make it where several different low-wage industries are starting to pay workers via debit card, which is not in itself necessarily a terrible idea, but frequently what we found out nationally is a lot of the debit cards come with onerous charges to them. So somebody who's already only making $7.50 or $8 an hour now is getting dinged every time that they go to the ATM to withdraw money or to check to see how much money they have. So as to regulate some of those practices. And then I'm also looking at some legislation that currently Wisconsin and most states are what is called at-will. People who are working for a living are at-will employees, which essentially means that they can be fired for any reason or for no reason. For many employers, you have to actually sign something saying that essentially they can fire you at any time for any reason or for no reason. And I think that goes against the grain of justice in Wisconsin.
Yeah. And then I guess time's been flying right by, so we usually end with the last question. What do you foresee the future of our area or the state of Wisconsin?
Well, two parts. Our area, I think that because of our location, being so close to Chicago and close to Milwaukee, we're strategically located for more manufacturing, certainly more warehousing. I think that there's some great things set in motion in terms of our location, and the casino would be icing on the cake. But I'll paraphrase County Executive Jim Cruiser when he said, I think it was probably the first press conference right after the BIA approval, when he said, I'll paraphrase, that Kenosha would be great with the casino. We're going to be good no matter what. We're going to do well with or without a casino, but it would certainly be icing on the cake to have the casino. So I think that Kenosha is going to flourish. And I think that Wisconsin, under Governor Burke, has a real opportunity to make Wisconsin back to the Wisconsin that we all remember, without this polarization where people can't talk freely or civilly about politics, and a legislature that's more centrist versus some of these radical right-wing agenda that we look at frequently, with bills written from outside of the state, essentially, as part of a national agenda by ALEC. So I think that Wisconsin has a bright future, and I think it's will be a lot brighter after Mary Burke is elected on November 4th.
Okay. Well, on that note, let's give a big round of applause for our State Representative Talkin Oct. Thanks for coming on by.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jeff Daniels. Want to play? I first picked up a guitar 30 years ago, and what started out as a hobby quickly became a way of life. Playing music isn't about perfection, it's about fun and self-expression. See how you can get started at wantoplaymusic.com.
Okay, here we are, Taste of Wisconsin, and I am with your name?
Kerry Spitzer.
Kerry, nice to see you. You're an excellent musician. Now, you were involved with the MAM organization. How did you get involved in that?
I was with it at the get-go when they first started.
Now, what is the MAM organization?
It's Musicians Assisting Area Musicians.
Okay. Now, what do you play?
I play anything with strings or keys on it.
Really?
Except for fiddle.
How did you get involved in playing music?
I don't know. My mother played a little guitar, and I learned how to play it from her, and when the Beatles hit, I found out I could get a lot more girls playing music than I could, doing athletics.
Sure. Now, where do you perform in the area?
We perform mostly locally. Occasionally we play in Chicago or Milwaukee. I play the Steel Bridge Festival.
Are you a solo act or are you a group? Or?
Just a duo. Yeah.
And what's the duo's name?
I play with Blue Edge of the Prairie, but I also do my solo act too. And I also play with Burl Creek and several other bands. I do a lot of pickup work.
Do you have any CDs we can look at? Do you have any CDs out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got 2 earlier CDs of my own called the Lake House Songs and Wire and Wood. And I've got one with Blue Edge of the Prairie that's being mastered now called Blue Edge of the Prairie.
And what are you going to be performing today?
I always play originals. I just play original stuff.
Well, that's the way to go, Kerry. You're an excellent musician. We're going to listen to some of your stuff, and thanks for coming to Taste of Wisconsin.
Thank you. So this is a little Vietnam song. Any Vietnam vets out there? Really? Vietnam? Ask your grandfather. There's a little thing called The Bottom Line. It's a little R&B song. To throw your life away. Take your time, get your act together. The bottom line changes every day. Don't get distracted by that some kind of women. I know you think they got it, sweet, sweet shine. Keep your feet there on the straight and narrow. Keep your eyes on the bottom line. took a job 'cause I needed me some money. Swore to God I'd save up every dime. I met some folks, they showed me how to party. I took my eyes off the bottom line of that whole bottom line. Now and then it feels as though it was not meant to be. If it's all the chances come, won't be no chance for me. Now and then I feel so lost, like I'll never find no way to keep my finger on the ever-changing bottom line. That whole bottom line. I should have listened to my dear old teachers. I should have listened to my dear old mom. Sat up straight, studied hard and paid attention. Said I'm here to South Vietnam and hoping nobody comes to punch my ticket. I hope my number don't come up no time. I hope I get another chance, I'm gonna take it. I keep my eyes on the bottom line. Don't get distracted by that some kind of wind. You know the kind of the sweet, sweet shine. I keep my foot there on the straight and narrow. I keep my eyes on the bottom line. I won't get distracted. I keep my foot there on the straight and narrow. I keep my eyes on the bottom line.